Sarah. I'm the youth minister at St Peter's, and I'm going to talk about a passage that I've been reflecting on a lot over this last month. It's from Leviticus, which is right at the beginning of the Bible in the Old Testament. It's a book compiled of hundreds of regulations that were given to Moses after leading the people out of Egypt in order that they would live a holy life so that God could live with them. Now in chapter 23, it's talking about the regulations around the festivals of the Lord, which are special times marked to formally remember God, which includes the Sabbath. But poised here in verse 22, it says, "When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field, or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor and foreigner among you. I am the Lord your God." They were commanded not to be greedy with their food and resources, or selfishly exploit the land, but leave what they didn't need to feed those who were hungry. Now, of course, we've been talking a lot about our grub tubs from Urban Outreach and donating to these so that people across Bolton who can't afford to eat can eat. And I used to see it in the parish centre and think, oh, I need to put something in there, I need to do it. But I'd often forget, and I don't think we've ever put anything in the grub tub before, to be honest. And I wasn't too bothered. I thought, well, we give regularly to the church, it's not too big a deal, other people will do it. But since the beginning of lockdown, back in March, there was a massive need from Urban Outreach to collect more food for people as people were panic buying and not sharing these resources. And so as a church and as a family, we got into a habit of starting to give a little bit, so starting to pop the odd thing in there. And at first it was a bit of effort. I had to keep reminding myself, oh no, I need to budget a bit of money and remember to put a few extra things in the trolley when I'm shopping. But actually, the more we did it, the easier it became, and it's just now become habit, and it's something we do every week when we never ever have done it before. Now that's just one example of how we can leave some of our gleanings of our resources to help feed others. And we can be praying and advocating for organisations that fight against corporate greed, injustice and exploitation. But even in these small things, if we are faithful, it can still make a huge difference. This passage links to the book of Ruth, where a God-fearing man named Boaz faithfully left the edges of his fields so a widow, among others, could gather food to survive. But through this, he met and married this widow Ruth, and through their lineage, Jesus was born, God with us. Now in the New Testament, hundreds of years later, we see many of the religious leaders that Jesus encountered still observe these festivals, but legalistically and through strict ritual. But Jesus came to fulfill these laws through grace and love, so that we are no longer restricted by them to know him and his deep love for us. And it's through a relationship with Jesus that we overflow with love and compassion for others, which makes obeying commands to be generous, enjoyable and natural, and not done out of duty or ritual. In 2 Corinthians 9 it says, "Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly, not under compulsion, but because God loves a cheerful giver." You know, I'm not a superhero, we're not superheroes, and I still struggle with being greedy and selfish. But I've definitely found the practice of giving and leaving some of these gleanings a joyful, rewarding and satisfying one. I love the fact when I'm unpacking my shopping bags, I put a pile of these little gleanings, these extras around the side, and I put it on a place in the table as if there's going to be an extra person sat there, a guest sharing dinner with us this evening. And when I go to drop off the bag and put it in one of the grub tubs, I just imagine that packet of pasta that's already in there, along with this tin of tomatoes that I'm putting in, are going to be combined to make a delicious spaghetti bolognese for someone that they can sit down and enjoy with their family. So I just encourage you to continue to keep donating to these grub tubs to Urban Outreach as the need not only continues but increases, and to think, how can we share our resources just that little bit more? to ensure that people are being treated fairly and being fed